Hello there everyone, Ashnflash here, and welcome on into my review of Hawkeye Season 1, and I say that hoping for a Season 2. It's not like Loki where they confirmed it at the end, which I was really thinking they were going to do, but my goodness, I loved this show. We're going to go non-spoilers, and then spoilers, and then also talking about Lego and what sets they could do from it. As well as before that, we'll talk about the future of where these characters could go. And with the spoilers, if you haven't seen No Way Home, don't listen because I'm going to touch on that a bit as well. So, anyways, let's go through those. So, non spoilers. Love the show. Really great. I think it's one of my favorites. I think it was solid. It had so much heart, and Hawkeye to me has always been one of my favorites. He's always been one of the things that ground, I think, the Avengers, and especially when you see him in Age of Ultron and you meet his family and you see what he is, where he comes from and who he's fighting for and all that stuff, and then tying that into Endgame. He's always been one of my favorite parts. So to have his own show, I was really looking forward to it, and the fact that it was gonna finally have his moment to be on his own, kind of like what they just did with Black Widow, but actually moving the story along, which is something really important to me, I thought was really great. So Kate as well, Kate Bishop was just fantastic. The casting there, Haley Steinfeld did amazing, and I don't really have too much more to say, like non-spoilers, but it was great. It had heart, it had comedy, it had action, some of the best action, I'd say, up close stuff, so really, really cool. But yeah, let's go ahead and let's jump into spoilers. So, how did it start off? It started off with opening up to one of my favorite movies, which is, that's a huge like points addition in the category there. Tying it into the first Avengers movie and seeing Kate, meet Clint indirectly for the first time and becoming obsessed with him and all that. I really loved how they set all that up at a young age, and that he had saved her. So I thought that was really awesome, and just having her, as she mentioned in the final episode, this guy who's just running around with nothing really, just a stick and string or whatever, and he's jumping off buildings, and he's there. He is one of the 6 Avengers there, ready to lay down their lives to protect New York and really the rest of the world. And I love the first Avengers movie, so tying it into that was great. Seeing Chitauri and stuff like that back, fantastic as always. And then just the setup with him going deaf, and just the comedy there of like, he just doesn't know where he's gone deaf from or hard of hearing from. Just his many explosions and crashing through windows, and even here being hit over the head with like the Black Widow sticks. It makes sense why he just doesn't know from where. So I thought that was really funny. But he was, I've always loved Clint, and I was so glad to finally have him have his moment here, and seeing his family back, and having Laura back as well, and kind of just seeing their dynamic. And there is stakes, it is the sort of Christmas cliche of, oh, he's got to make it home for Christmas and all that, which I didn't mind. Like, I really loved that, and obviously he was going to. There was never a shadow of doubt in my mind that he wasn't going to make it home. Flash forward, we've got Kate, and she's the best archer, and she's doing trick shots and stuff like that, and I love that. But her family dynamic with Jack, he just proposed, and Eleanor said yes, and the minute that when, what was his name, Armand the Third or whatever, he had threatened her in quotations. He said, "I know powerful people too." So the two meant that she threatened him first. He was the one that was threatened, and he said, "I know people as well." So immediately, I knew the mom was evil. Like, from that line, so many people were like, it's Jack, what are you saying? No. It's not Jack. He's such a sweet, kind-hearted person. You see that throughout the whole thing. They're just using him as a red herring. Oh my goodness, he's like swords. He stole the sword. He killed his uncle, whatever. And it was Eleanor. So Didn't surprise me one bit. Saw that coming from a mile away. Enjoyed it though. Like, I really like Jack. He does seem like a sweet guy, and I'm jumping ahead here, but I loved seeing him at the end there helping. I thought that was really cool. And hey, he is the swordsman, and he has been an Avenger in the past. So why not, chuck him in the next endgame battle. Have him come through a portal with his little sword. I'm all for that. I thought he was really great and charming, and yeah, he was so fun. But the setup for Kingpin, it frustrates me, but I also love it at the same time. I'm worried. So I guess it sets it up with Echo growing up, and I really did enjoy the opening after just meeting her in the back room, having us see her grow up and just some of the struggles that she was maybe facing with being deaf and just the relationship with her dad. I really appreciated that setup to have her lose that from Ronan and understand her hatred towards him. I thought was really great. And just seeing as well just the tracksuit mafia and just another bit of a glimpse of what was going on between the blip. So that was pretty cool. And I think that the way that they set up her story was fantastic, and her hatred towards Hawkeye or Ronan was definitely warranted, of course. She saw him kill so many of her friends, and specifically her dad, so that was really great. To have Fisk finally back from Daredevil, I haven't watched since 2015. I'm rewatching it right now. I've forgotten how great it is. And I always have loved the two of them. So to see the two of them coming back this way it was insane to me. And I think that when you bring someone as big as Kingpin in, I think that in some aspects of it, they nailed it. Like, they absolutely did perfect in terms of his introduction of all the little hints that Clint had been leading up to this about, I'm scared that how far up this goes. First episode, he said that. And then even just having set up like, oh, your uncle's always going to look after you from Echo's side of things, or they're afraid of who they're working for and all that stuff. The setup for him was fantastic. They revealed the credits with that beautiful poster. I stand by that being like that's a desktop worthy picture there. I really love that. And then this episode to have, boom, right into things. He's walking in with the cane. Love the look. All that. Fantastic. And then using him the way that they did in terms of I don't necessarily think he would have gotten his hands dirty. Personally, I get like why you wanted to kind of set up the fight between him and Kate and all that, but I don't believe at all that the Kingpin would ever step in and be on the streets, especially with looking at Daredevil. He doesn't even want people saying his name. So then for him to also be working with such idiots is really hard for me to wrap my mind around. So putting all that aside, the minute he ripped open that door, signaled to me this is not the Kingpin from the Netflix shows, and I think that's really clear. Whether or not you think those shows are canon, I think that him here being superhuman, maybe something's happened between season 3 now of Daredevil. I personally don't think so, but he's so much huger. He is ripping car doors off instead of using them to crack skulls. It's interesting, and it was crazy to see him just that powerful, and it was scary. But he's taken arrows, he's taken being hit by a car, he's taken an explosion. He's insane. Like, he's just a tank, and I love that. I absolutely love that. It gave me like menacing Kingpin vibes from Spider-Verse when he just, pounds on Spider-Man and kills him. Like, that to me was what, like, that vibe, that it was like so scary, not in a gory way necessarily as Daredevil, but in a more powerful and like, this guy is a tank. You cannot stop him, kind of like the Rhino. So I really love seeing that, and the fight between him and Kate was amazing. I don't know. I'm all over the place. It's hard. Last show that we did was What If, and I was recapping episode by episode. This I'm trying to think of like everything that happened here. The ending though, just to continue with Kingpin, and then I'll move on and talk about some other stuff. So I was really concerned about the future of Kingpin. Like, in my mind, it's like, you're not gonna bring this fan favorite character and actor back after all these years from the end of Daredevil season 3. You're bringing back Maddie over in Spider-Man. I don't think that you bring him back only to kill him in the exact same episode that you bring him back. I mean, technically he was in the one before, but anyways, it was just really interesting. Now, a few things, and I have seen a lot of people talk about this since the night that this came out. I tweeted out and my thoughts on it, brief thoughts, and someone was like, his outfit was really bad. And I was like, there's no way that they did this Hawaiian outfit if it had never been worn before. So I searched it up, finally found it, and then it was on Pinterest, so I had to reverse Google image search it. Then I found it. It's from a comic called The Amazing Spider-Man Family Business. The story itself is really weird, but it is actually really important. It's just the title, Family Business, and that's the theme that we've constantly seen here from the scenes between Echo and Kingpin, or Maya, if you don't know, that's Echo's name. So specifically between them, he was talking about all these things about how, we're a family and we're business partners, and when he's talking to Eleanor and all that. But then at the end, when he's about to get shot, he says, with family sometimes we don't see eye to eye. And to me, that was really important, because a lot of people have said he actually gets shot in the face in the comics and he comes back after having surgery or whatever. This guy's a tank. I have no problem with him coming back. He has to come back. I am full-heartedly believing that he is not going anywhere. He has to fight up against Daredevil now that that's back, and Spider-Man as well. All these things. He's the kingpin of crime here. I almost said Gotham, in New York. So there is no way that they brought him back only to kill him off screen as well, which we didn't see. So I think it's either she shot him just to injure him and you heard him fall, something. I don't know. There's no way he's dead. I think he's coming back. It'd be interesting as well if he is blind for a bit, like just the parallels between him and Matt there. So, yeah, I really loved as well with her. Some of the things that they did with her being deaf, I thought was really great. The fight that they had in car sales lot, I thought was really interesting, because like gunshots were going off. I'm like, wait, like that's not very subtle, Clint. And I realized that she has no idea that that's going on. And I love that part of it. And I think that was something even terrifying as well when you saw Ronan killing her dad. Like, you don't know where he is. So I thought that was really interesting. As much as I love the Tracksuit Mafia, again, they're complete idiots. And I did like that, the little banter that they had with Kate, especially at the end there. That was really great. There was so many of them as well at the end. I just loved seeing all the trick arrows throughout this whole show. It was amazing. That car chase is one of my favorites. It's not quite like Nick Fury level, but it's definitely up there in terms of like, it's just so wacky. Like, you're just having all these trick arrows and you're doing all these things and the giant arrow. And oh my goodness, like that whole fight and the escape and all that. I loved that all. And I think that the fighting in this episode, that one specifically, in the toy store was really great. And the close combat of like the arrows and all that, fantastic. I thought it was all really well choreographed. Speaking of choreography and posing and all that, we lead into Elena. And you've heard my thoughts. You could check out my thoughts on Black Widow. I'm not the biggest fan of that movie. I don't think it necessarily moved the story forward in any way, especially when you're dealing with the death of a character, or you're doing a story about a character who has already died. I think that movie needed to come out a long time ago, and even here, some of the dialogue, especially in episode 6, where they're just referencing thing after thing from the movie Black Widow, it just felt really forced, where he's talking about, oh yeah, your sister talked about you all the time, except she never mentioned her at all for how many years, until after her prequel movie came out. But before then, when she's talking about family and all that, you guys are all that I have, then she never mentions it. So I understand it's hard to tell a story and to tell this story with hundreds of characters, and for you to want to tell a prequel story and for it to fit nicely, perfectly. You're not going to please everyone, and you didn't please me, and I understand that you've pleased so many other people, but for me, I get it. It doesn't fit the jigsaw puzzle that is the Marvel story for me. It just doesn't, it's one of those pieces, that's a little too loose that you think might fit there, but it does. Anyways, I'm rambling on this analogy. My point is, Hawkeye for me though redeemed Black Widow in a lot of ways. Not necessarily all the talking there at the end, but I did enjoy and feel more for Yelena, and especially I think that they need to bring one shots back. That opening to episode 5 for Hawkeye, to me, just deserved to be a short film on like the Black Widow DVD and uploaded on Disney Plus. It didn't necessarily need to be a part of Hawkeye. I don't think even it didn't make sense for it to be the intro and then for you to do the recap. I don't know what that was, the editing there, but that short of her curing the Black Widows and then being snapped away, and that was frightening. I loved seeing the perspective from her there of being snapped back as well. Like, it was just an instant thing. That was really creepy, and seeing the world dust away in front of her, I thought that was a very unique perspective that we haven't seen before, so I really appreciated that. And she was funny, she was really great. I loved the fight in this last episode between her and Kate, was really awesome. But again, it suffers from Batman versus Superman, where it's like, just talk. Like, you don't need to fight. I know you want to fight for the spectacle of it all, but just have a conversation. Just talk. Be like, oh yeah, everything that she said, which also doesn't make any sense because this whole time she's been trying to kill him like that immediately. She jumps out of the building and tries to shoot him without talking to him. And then all of a sudden, once everything's calmed down and it's okay, we're all just going to talk calmly. And I want to hear what you're going to say now all of a sudden for plot convenience. So, but besides the convenience of it all, I did like the moment that they shared, and I appreciated that, and I am excited to see what's going to happen going forward. I'm a little bit confused with why it was Eleanor that hired her, but at the same time, it was also Val, I think is her name, whatever, Julie Louis-Dreyfus, I'm not even going to bother checking. Elaine from Seinfeld, she has her on her payroll, and said, hey, look, here's this picture from a behind the scenes of filming Avengers Endgame. Look, it's Clint, and he's in the Ronin costume. He killed your sister. So that's why she's in New York, unless Eleanor tipped her off. I don't know. I need to know more of like what all that is. I am excited for the future of Yelena and whatever else is happening. I said I have John Walker and all that stuff. Lucky. Adorable and really, really great. Who else? The LARPers. Fine inclusion. It's sometimes cringy. It's sometimes they were funny and useful. And when they were like, oh, they're not going to listen to us, we need to suit up, I'm like, oh yeah, maybe go put on your police uniforms and your firefighter uniforms. No, you go put on Viking costumes, because that's what people are going to listen to you in a state of panic. They're not going to be afraid of you. I have no words. But what else was there that I'm forgetting? I love the suits. The suits were awesome at the end there. Really great. And I liked how she was trying to get him to, market better. And that he's being mistaken for, like, Katniss Everdeen and stuff like that. I love that. I really, really appreciated all that. End credit scene. Man, I was hoping that when that package was unwrapping that it was going to be season 2. But I'm sure season 2 is going to happen. Like, I just think that this show's been so widely well received, and a lot of people loved it. So hopefully season 2 soon. I would have loved for there to be just something with setting up Echo or even Yelena, what she's doing at the end. Just anything would have been better, I think, than that. But hey, it's better than the Spider-Man No Way Home end credit, which was just a trailer for Doctor Strange, which people are going to see uploaded on YouTube like any day now. So yeah, it's better than that. It's better than nothing. So I can't really complain there. It was cool. Now you can probably listen to that on iTunes in full. I'm sure that the success of the Agatha All Along and how that was at the top of the billboards makes Marvel want to be like, hey, we should make more songs for our shows like this now in its entirety, which was so cringy. But where's the future going to take us? I'm not sure. I feel like Kate is going to pop up in other things. I hope that Jeremy Renner wants to keep going, because I really think that he is what grounds a lot of these movies, and he's always so funny with his quips and his relationships with even Ant-Man. I love that, and I hoping that they're setting up the Young Avengers or whatever they're going to do with that. I'm excited to see more of Yelena and Kate Bishop as well. Really was hoping for Spidey to swing on by, but unfortunately it did not happen, even though he swung past the Rockefeller tree and all that, so I guess that was before the events of this movie, but really awesome nonetheless. But let's talk Lego here. I'm so sad we don't have Kate Bishop. I want a Lego Kate Bishop so badly, and Lucky is so cute. Please Lego Lucky, as well as I want that Hawkeye outfit, and Echo had a new outfit at the end there. I want a Kingpin big figure for so long. But if I were to design a set, I think there's one very easy to do, and it is the Trust a Bro big truck, and then you could have them chasing them when in like a generic black car, you know, kind of like what they did with like Shang-Chi, where it's just they've just made their own sort of Lego car. I would love that so much. Please, it's so easy to do. And even Chuck and Lucky there, just cause I know that he wasn't in the scene, but I really hope that we are able to get something from this. I don't know why they're not doing sets on these shows besides What If, but hopefully that changes in the future. Maybe in a Marvel Series 2 we get Kate and Hawkeye, and then Echo, because she's getting her own show. But yeah, I really hope that we get something. And speaking of Lego, I just want to say that the Lego placement here was just great to see the Lego store in the background. I kept being distracted by that. I kept seeing it. I remember when it was the minute he was actually someone was falling out or whatever, and I remember thinking, wait a second, there was a store in Rockefeller Center there, and I was like, are they gonna show it? And then they did it. I was like, yes, I'm so happy. And you can see like the X-Wing and stuff and Rebuild the World in the background. I was so happy to see that in the background. Good product placement. I wish that final fight also happened in the Lego store, but it's okay. I really would have loved to see that. But anyways, everybody, what do you think of Hawkeye? Do you want a season 2? What would your ideal Lego set be from this? Maybe you'd want a final fight on the ice rink. Who knows? Anyways, everyone, hope you guys did enjoy this long review. I know it's because we're recapping 6 episodes. If you want to check out my reviews for the other shows that I've done and the other movies, I have a playlist now linked at the end here. So hope you guys did enjoy the video. Hope you all have a great day. I will see you all in the next one.